In betting terms, this is the closest race for several years. We have no really hot favourite, no complete outsider. We vary from 2-1 favourite Martin Amis, which I think may be a bit too hot to handle for the judges, out to 8-1 Rohinton Mistry, first time out. I think the winner's going to be somewhere in the middle, 4-1 Timothy Moe. Been shortlisted twice before. This is probably his best book yet.
It's an interesting list, and I like the look of it. It's meaty, it's different, it's varied. There's something for everybody there. Though, why on earth there isn't a single woman on it, I can't imagine. Think of the row there would have been if it had been a short list of 6 women.
Well, I'd be extremely keen on William Trevor, who's long been a favourite of mine, and I think this book, reading Turgenev, is by some way the most real. This is the most perfect novel, the one most concerned with time and the past and destiny and love and the makings of fiction. I give you one William Trevor for 6 Martin Amises. I don't think he will get it, on the other hand. It's not, the Booker Prize isn't really concerned with that kind of novel. I think it will go to something wider in scope and more grave in theme, perhaps. It'll either be Timothy Moe or Ben Okri.
Well, it's like a cross, isn't it, between a school prize giving and an Oscar ceremony, and it has to be there. I think it's quite a good shortlist. I'd have liked to see J.G. Ballard there. I'd have liked to see Angela Carter there. As to who will win, very difficult to predict. I'd like to see Martin Amis win, but I don't think he will. William Trevor, good for him to get a Lifetime Achievement Award. Good for a first novel to win, and there's a good one. But I think it'll be one of the others. It's very hard to say.
It's a sad day for literature, isn't it? Either Martin Amis is going to lose, which would be a great injustice because Martin Amis deserves to win, or worse, Martin Amis will win, which would be a great injustice to Martin Amis because then he'll become established. I mean, he's the Mick Jagger of literature. If he wins, he'll become Margaret Drabble.
Good evening and welcome to the Late Show's special coverage of the 1991 Booker Prize for Fiction, coming to you live from Guildhall in London and from the Late Show studio. We opened with a few predictions and reactions from guests arriving for tonight's dinner, which is now at the pudding stage. In just under 50 minutes, the chairman of the judges will announce the winner of certainly the most prestigious, though not the most lucrative, of the literary prizes. The winner receives £20,000 and a promise of a huge boost in sales. Before the winner is announced, we'll be talking to each of the 6 shortlisted authors about their books and hearing from our own panel of judges. Sarah Dunant is in the Late Show studio. Here, scattered among the great and the good of the publishing world, are the 6 shortlisted authors. In less than an hour, one of them will be richer by £20,000, though none of them seems the kind of chap likely to spend the prize money, as last year's winner, A.S. Byatt, said she would, on a swimming pool for her house in France. Martin Amis is British, making his first and for many people well overdue appearance on the shortlist. 2 years ago, there was an outcry when his novel London Fields failed to make it after much argument between the judges. This year's novel is called Time's Arrow and is the bookie's favourite at 2-1. Roddy Doyle is a Dublin teacher whose first novel, The Commitments, has just been filmed. His shortlisted novel, The Van, is the last in a trilogy about an imaginary area of working-class Dublin. His odds are 5-1. Rohinton Mistry emigrated to Toronto from his native Bombay in 1975. His book, Such a Long Journey, is set in Bombay around that time. It's his first novel, something of a rarity on the Booker shortlist. The bookies are wary with this one, and the odds are 8-1. Timothy Mo is the son of an English mother and a Chinese father and lived in Hong Kong until the age of 10. He's been shortlisted twice before, with Sour Sweet in 1982 and An Insular Possession in 1986. His novel this year is The Redundancy of Courage, and the odds are 4-1. Ben Okri grew up in Lagos in the 1950s, the son of a lawyer, and came to London, he says, because of Dickens and Shakespeare. He's a poet and short story writer as well as a novelist. His shortlisted book, set in a fictionalised Nigeria, is The Famished Road, and his odds are 7-1. William Trevor, born in Ireland in 1928, has been publishing novels for over 30 years. His shortlisted novel, Reading Turgenev, is set in familiar Trevor territory, a nondescript Irish town of 30 years ago, and his odds are 5-2. Those are the 6 shortlisted authors. One of them was secretly chosen as the winner this afternoon by the judges, who change each year. This year, of course, there's one fewer than when they started. The chairman of the judges is Jeremy Treglown, a writer and former editor of the Times Literary Supplement. They must be thinking of keeping a regular seat for novelist Penelope Fitzgerald. She won the prize in 1979, has been shortlisted 3 times, most recently last year with The Gate of Angels. Jonathan Keates is a novelist and biographer, and regular reviewer for The Observer, The Independent, and the Times Literary Supplement. Anne Schlee is a writer and teacher whose novel Rhine Journey was shortlisted for the Booker Prize in 1981. And finally, like the ghost at the feast, the Refusenick judge, novelist Nicholas Mosley, author of Hopeful Monsters, which won the Whitbread Prize last year. Mosley's resignation has left the judges with a problem. What if there's a 2-2 split? Well, in that case, the extra and casting vote will go to the chairman, Jeremy Treglown. If the rumour's true that all the judges favoured a different book, he may well have used it this afternoon.
Well, my lord, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the last throes of the annual nightmare of the Booker Prize. We have this year worked our way through our regular schedule of events. Well, a judge has walked out. Many have written to us demanding clean, decent, and uplifting books. And the Times has written a leader about us. May I first welcome all those who have helped to make tonight's decision. Penelope Fitzgerald, herself a Booker Prize winner. Jonathan Keates and Schlee and the chairman, Jeremy Treglown. And Nicholas Mosley for the time he gave on the deliberations. And now may I also welcome you, our guests, whom we took time and I suppose effort to choose and delight in seeing. Booker is a company doing business. More than 20 years ago, we decided to fund and award a prize. God knows we could have had an easier time if we had followed the competition. We could have placed our name on the shirts of a soccer team. Gary Lineker could have scored from 3 feet out with Booker emblazoned on his back. Or we could have competed with the Foster's Oval by the Booker Trent Bridge. For that matter, we could have given away plastic swizzle sticks. But would that have been better business? Never mind the uplift, how about the accountants? Tell me, has the Times ever devoted an annual leader to mocking Australian lager? I don't believe they have done any of those things, but for a good 6 weeks every year, Booker is brought in chains to the pillory and has eggs thrown at it. It must be excellent for business. One other small commercial. Please keep an eye open for new writing, a name with resonance when you remember the Penguin series in the 30s. Well, the new writing is to be an annual. Malcolm Bradbury edits it, and the British Council publishes it. Finally, Whitbread, Waterstones, and Booker, what nice businesses are sponsoring it. The significance of the Booker varies widely for the winner and the public. I'm enormously encouraged by the large evidence of international interest and knowledge. It has in many people's view given British-based fiction a much stronger place in the world. Whether when I was in the Macaulay Club in Calcutta, or just the other day amongst writers in Moscow, I have been absolutely enthralled by the detailed knowledge and active interest that they have in the Booker winners and in the shortlist. Over the years, the Booker has been called elitist. when we weren't called down market. We are, well, invidious, but also conformist. We bring the banal, or the banal, little minds of mid-culture to our task. Or alternatively, we play God with the arts. For me, the non-playing captain, I have contributed my, well, opinions on those who are selected to decide which author shall be placed in a position to afford the double glazing. In selecting the judges, we have known that we are wholly unable to satisfy everyone. However, we do pay great attention to all our critics and have perhaps veered this way or that, trying hard to steer an acceptable course. We also have to live with the opposition. I'm delighted that the Sunday Express Awards, a literary prize, I suppose honestly, as delighted as if Happy Eater had come up with an award for haute cuisine. Actually, joking apart, the Booker is very happy to have competition. It's nice for the authors as well. But the Sunday Express's long-standing critic is miffed with us in our rather highbrow shortlist. Graham Lord isn't the only hostile witness. One of our shareholders has written into us, novels are for entertainment and uplift and should have a happy ending. That is what I feel about company reports. He wonders where are the modern equivalent of Dickens, Thackeray, Trollope, Jane Austen, Woodhouse, and he adds that they might be found if the Booker offered a prize for novels of a civilized way of life. But Dickens wrote about prostitution, riots, organized child crime, bankruptcy, suicide, cruelty to children, factory exploitation, murder, revolution, and the British legal system. And we enjoy a more civilized way of life because of him. As for entertainment, uplift and happy endings, there isn't an awful lot of that, well, actually in King Lear. My correspondent also feels that the books selected should be understandable in the culture of the Western world. Well, as I have said, I'm only a businessman with a quiet respect for books. But I think any decent reader should say, if you reject books outside received Western culture, you don't just reject the Nigerian novel which our judges shortlisted. You say no to 1,001 Nights as well. And if you think of it, no to the Bible, that product of the Middle Eastern mind. Do we really want a cultural tariff wall? Western culture is powerful enough to learn, wise enough to seek new experience. It doesn't need an immigration officer and doesn't want one. And humility towards a wide and fascinating world is the greatest strength of all. The Booker will always make its mistakes. in the way of gifted, fallible men and women struggling with ideas, language, narrative line, innovation, and high tradition. They will only be making intelligent guesses. But may I say for them that I always and over all the years have taken a paradoxical pride in the attacks made on their seriousness and liberality. Our judges over the years have been consistent friends to uncomfortable literature, to the striving and high aspiring, to the excellent, and to work from any part of the world where English is written. This is not the airport book prize. It isn't the soft option prize. Will the Booker choice disappoint at the golf club bar? Well, I guess so. Will the judges come up with a safe anaesthetic to get you from Heathrow to Tenerife? Well, I don't think that's awfully likely. In a moment, you will know the winner of the Booker Prize, and I'm sure that it'll be a novel worth the judges' trouble, worth Bookers, and when a wide public reads it, worth theirs. Now, my task now is to congratulate all the authors on the shortlist, and we're happy to have them all with us this evening. The bindings, as you noticed in the exhibition, of the shortlisted books, which I will now present to the authors, have all been specially created by 6 fellows of designer bookbinders, the principal bookbinding society in Great Britain. Each binding reflects the individual theme and content of the novel it covers. May we all wish the society good fortune in their endeavours. Thank you very much.
Now I have the task, may I ask Martin Amis to receive this book, Time's Arrow. If I could then ask Roddy Doyle with the van. Well, would you like to open it up? If you're able to. Then if I could ask Rohinton Mistry with such a long journey. Thank you. Then we have Ben Okri with the Famished Road.
I've given you the wrong. Well, we made a mistake in the order, and he was able to recognize that it wasn't his. And then we have Timothy Moe with the redundancy of courage. Thank you very much. And I've opened it all for you. And this is yours as well. Thank you. Then if we could have William Trevor reading Turgenev. And we now pause as we have to abide by the timetable of the media, but in a moment I'll be asking the chairman to return here to announce the winner. Thank you.
Yes, indeed, we're about to learn who the winner is. The chairman of Booker, Sir Michael Caine, is now going to invite Jeremy Treglown to announce the judge's decision.
Good evening again. May I now ask, for the greatest interest of us all, Jeremy Treglown to announce the winner of the Booker for 1991.
Well, there have been times lately when I've found myself feeling nostalgic about another prize I once judged, the Cheltenham Literature Festival Prize. How that one works is that the organizers choose one judge who chooses one book, which wins. The Booker Prize is a little more complicated. There are 5 judges, at least to start with. They mostly disagree. Later, everyone else disagrees with them. Why does anyone take any notice in these circumstances? Well, first, I guess, because most of the judges are thought likely to have interesting views about fiction. This year, all the judges, apart from me, are themselves novelists. Second, the arguments are about such good books. Of the 110, by some counts, 108 by other counts, novels that we read, over a quarter were thought by one judge or other to be serious candidates for the prize. One of the judges came to believe that we were arguing not only about the merits of individual books, but about an issue, for want of a better term, the novel of ideas. As you know, Nicholas Mosley resigned because he thought that the rest of us wanted to exclude such novels. He says he sees this as a tendency in British culture at large. It seems to me that he's making it up. He's a novelist, he's allowed to do that. But the novel of ideas, both on and off the shortlist, is as strong as it has ever been. There's a novelist in Britain, after all, a former winner of this prize, whose fictional ideas have proved so potent that he has been forced to live like a hostage in his own country under sentence of death from a foreign government. In 3 weeks' time, Salman Rushdie will have been in hiding for 1,000 days. Today, he and the freedoms he represents need our support, deserve our support, as much as they ever have done. Now, with luck, the novelists on this year's shortlist will escape that kind of fate. But already one of them, Martin Amis, has been the subject of ferocious critical debate. Does the structural idea behind Time's Arrow help communicate and transform its terrible subject, as I, for one, think? Or is it an insulting trick? The judges argued hard over that, as they did over Timothy Moe's powerful The Redundancy of Courage, and whether the characters have been fully imagined or are perhaps a little too much mouthpieces for points of view. This is one of the distinctions that good fiction makes, one of the reasons why it is fiction and not philosophy or politics or history. What is an idea, after all, for a novelist? There's an expression we all use all the time about giving an idea of something. William Trevor's reading Turgenev gives us an idea, a near-perfect idea, of what life is like for a particular imaginary Irish woman in a particular time and place and set of circumstances. Roddy Doyle's The Van does something similar for an unemployed builder. So does Rohinton Mistry's Such a Long Journey for its Parsi family in Bombay. In The Famished Road, Ben Okri gives us an idea, both innocent and streetwise, what it would be like to be a spirit child growing up in the struggles of modern Nigeria. These ideas in all these novels are not short on history or philosophy or politics, but they are more to do with the imagination, with human sympathy and fantasy vividly conveyed in words that somehow or other make people want to read. Each of the shortlisted books had at least one passionate supporter among the judges. Some had several, either from the beginning or after we'd argued and gone away to read again and changed our minds. It wasn't an easy decision to make, but the book that in the end most of us liked most is, by a clear majority, the winner. I'm delighted to say, ladies and gentlemen, that the Booker Prize for 1991 goes to Ben Okri for The Famished Road.
And please do say some words to us all here.
Well, of course, I'm extremely delighted. I suppose I'm still. If one's going to be quite honest, this looks like a rather sort of extremely beautiful dream. Everyone's so well dressed, and I've eaten rather well tonight. When my first novel was published, I went home, and my father rather cunningly got together all the elders of our town, and they contributed a certain amount of money, impromptu, to buy me a pen to carry on writing. I suppose this will buy me quite a lot of pens. I'd like to thank the Booker judges. It must have been very difficult coming to this decision because all the books are extremely fine books. I'd like to thank the Booker organization for hosting this tradition of hostile as well as inspiring debate about literature. I'd like to thank my publishers, Jonathan Cape, my editor, Maggie McKernan, and David Godwin. I'd like to thank, of course, my mother, and of course, I'd like to thank my very good friend, Rosemary Clooney, who's been a close friend. And before I leave, I'd like to read out something very, very brief, and then get off the stage and retire to my solitude. It's a little poem. I don't have any talent for speeches, so you'll bear with me. We are the miracles that God made to taste the bitter fruit of time. We are precious, and one day our suffering will turn into the wonders of the earth. There are things that burn me now, which turn golden when I am happy. Do you see the mystery of our pain, that we bear poverty and are able to sing and dream sweet things, and that we never curse the air when it is warm, or the fruit when it tastes so good, or the lights that bounce gently on the waters? We bless things even in our pain. We bless them in silence. That is why our music is so sweet. It makes the air remember. There are secret miracles at work that only time will bring forth. I too have heard the dead singing, and they tell me that this life is good. They tell me to live it gently, with fire, and always with hope. There is wonder here, and there is surprise in everything that moves unseen. The ocean is full of songs. The sky is not an enemy. Destiny is our friend. I dedicate this prize to all those who struggle and who suffer in silence and in public and who never stop fighting and always keep on dreaming. Thank you very much.
Ben Okri, winner of this year's Booker Prize. From Guildhall, good evening.